I grew up all my life glued to a computer. When I first started talking, I was already browsing through my uncle's computer, switching between games. By the time I was 10, I was talking over my family's MSN accounts and making them send each other awkward messages. I was 10 at the time, so the messages were stuff like, "I hate you," or "Give me back my Power Ranger." As you could imagine, I had no friends growing up. I was bullied and pushed around a lot. I'm autistic, so I guess that was the reason. I don't know, nor will I ever. My old man kept telling me that I had to stand up for myself, that I had to show them that I wasn't afraid. Truth is, I couldn't fight back. I tried, but my punches were weak and my kicks would tickle. I spent the best part of 6 years thinking the only way that I could fight back was by physically fighting them. Little did I know that the world I grew up in, the virtual world, was about to become the second life for everyone. From here on, my mistakes started to pile up. When I turned 16, everyone was using Facebook and Twitter. Whatever was popular, people would flock to it. I had a main bully, you could say. His name was Brock. He was the definition of an asshole. I guess it made what I did to him easier to live with. Brock loved to brag. His girlfriend was hot, his figure was fit, and he was amazing at sports. His only downside was that he was dumb as shit. And he hated anyone that excelled academically. Surprise, surprise, I was a smartass. I was incredibly good at solving problems. I guess that was the upside to my autism. He hated that, and proceeded to make my life a living hell. I tried fighting back again using my weak body, forgetting my strongest weapon was my mind. One day I was browsing Facebook and found Brock in the suggested friends. He was in my world, and suddenly, something clicked. I created a burn account, jazzed it up and made it look legit. I added Brock as a friend and proceeded to find out as much as I could about him. I found his girlfriend and added her too. I sent Brock an email from Facebook claiming that his account was compromised and had to download a PDF file with all of our security measures. I now had access to his laptop and proceeded to find out everything there was to know about him. I knew so much that at any point in time, I could tell you where he was, what he was doing, and who he was doing it with. I had his laptop camera send me images every so often, so I knew what he was up to. When his girlfriend came over, I was ready. I booted up my online dating application and started sending messages to Brock. "Hey, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last week was a blast." I won't go into too much detail, but due to the fact that I knew what he was up to, it was easy to convince his girlfriend that his online babe was real. It didn't stop there. I downloaded to his laptop as much gay porn as I could find. This was a time where homosexuality wasn't as accepted as it is today. You can imagine how his parents reacted to his fun drive. He didn't come back to school since then. I guess he moved out of town. I don't know. I didn't care to look anymore. To me, this was a small victory, and I relished in it. I wish it would have stopped there, but I was addicted. That feeling of justice being served by my own hands was one that I loved and wanted more, so I targeted criminals, the type that use the dark web to hide and spread their filth. For 4 years straight, I was a pain in their asses. Pedophiles, rapists, heavy drug dealers, you name it. If they were online, I was making their lives a living hell. I thought I was being smart. I thought I was hiding myself pretty well. But fuck, something was following me every step of the way, and it would soon tell me. I woke up one morning as any normal day. I made eggs and toast for breakfast with a glass of orange juice, booted up my desktop, and browsed Reddit. The usual was on. Guys complaining that something was overpowered, something was underpowered, the game designers weren't listening, the usual morning chuckle. Then I heard a ping. It was the Facebook Messenger notification sound. Funny, I didn't open Facebook yet. Maybe I did and forgot? Wouldn't make sense as I rarely used Facebook. It was odd, but not enough to sound any major alarms. A message from somebody I didn't know.
"Hey Danny, what's the weather like in Japan?"
What the fuck? Weather in Japan? I'm on the other side of the world. The name read James Puckerson. On my other monitor, I started going through his profile, trying to find any mutual friends, someone I met at a party or something. I responded with, "Sunny, I hope. Anyone who knows me knows that I hate the rain." I kept looking, but nothing of interest was popping up. James replied,
Oh, funny guy. Tell me, Danny, do you enjoy playing games?
At this point, I thought he was referring to video games. "Yeah, dude, I wouldn't mind some League of Legends right about now."
Oh, Danny, I don't mean one of those childish games. I mean a real game. You know, the type that involves putting one's life on the line.
I let out a chuckle. Someone probably hacked my Facebook account and is now trolling me.
This isn't a joke, Danny. I take these games extremely serious.
Okay. What? How did he know that I laughed? Did he guess? There's no way he could see me. My camera isn't even plugged in. How could he have gotten into my apartment? My Facebook profile had a fake address on it. I never used my real address for anything, not even for Amazon or eBay. This has to be a joke. I replied, Sure, dude. I'm bored as fuck anyway." I was buying some time to try and find out where this son of a bitch was. I scoured everywhere trying to find any small clue to latch onto. I found something, kept going, and looked into it more, eventually leading up to an address. When I looked at the address, I froze. I could feel my blood draining from my face. It was my address. I was the only one living there, but somehow this asshole was using my address as a cover. Another message came in.
I see you've gone extremely pale, Danny. What's the matter? Don't believe in ghosts?
I couldn't move. This guy could see me. He knew every move I was making, and I didn't know what to do. Do I run away and burn everything down? Fry my hard drives and shred my motherboard? What the fuck was going on?
Ring ring, Danny. Ring ring.
My phone starts to ring. The caller ID read, "Mom." I picked up. I hesitated to speak. I can't show my mom I'm afraid of something. She would worry. I tried to act cool. Hey Mom, everything alright?" What I heard next made me drop my phone. It made me realize that this shit was real, and it wasn't a joke. I heard a voice, obviously modulated to hide the identity of the caller, but the threat was real, and I knew who it was.
Hey Danny, what's the weather like in Japan?
I stood frozen in pure horror. Panic swept over my body, and thoughts flooded my mind. What the hell happened to my mother? Is she okay? What is this son of a bitch doing with her phone? I knew I had to calm down. Something didn't seem right. I picked up the phone and looked at the caller ID. It just said, "Mom." No number. Fuck. How could I be so stupid? He was just masking his caller ID. Must be to throw me off balance. So I played along. There must be something I'm missing. What are you doing with my mom's phone? Where is she? Is she okay? A laugh came from the other end. A deep, disgusting laugh. I decided to record the call. Maybe I can play around with the recording and find out this caller's real voice. It may not be much, but this asshole knows where I live, and probably who my parents are as well. He starts talking.
Danny. The safety of your mother depends on the outcome of our little game. I told you, one's life is on the line. But I should have elaborated and said it shouldn't be necessarily the player's life. So, are you ready to play?
At this point, I had a thought. How can James see me? I have no cameras connected to the Wi-Fi. My desktop camera is disconnected, and I ripped out my laptop camera when I got the damn thing. Another option would be he broke into my apartment and installed the cameras when I was out. But why would he risk getting caught like that? I may have cameras at home and catch him doing it. No, he must be using one of my devices. It doesn't seem like I have a choice, James. Let's fucking play. I braced myself for what he would say. We've all watched those horror movies. Suddenly I knew. I wanted to throw myself from my apartment for how stupid I'd been. In my hand, I held a single device that had a camera and was connected to my Wi-Fi. My fucking phone. I didn't want to jump to the conclusion that was the only camera that was being used, so I decided to test it. Before I do anything, though, he begins to speak.
Well, Danny, I must say you've got balls. Most guys would have started to cry or beg me to stop. This will most certainly be fun.
I've had enough of this shit. I started to test my theory. I googled shit like how to track a phone call and how to find cameras in your home. I wanted to see if he could see my screen, and sure enough, confirmation came through.
Oh, Danny, that's cute. You're still trying to fight back. But I can assure you, you will not be able to track this call, and you will not find out how I can see you.
Challenge accepted, dickhead. I angled my phone away from my bag and took out a USB dongle. If this asshole was on my Wi-Fi, I'm gonna make him think he's controlling all of my devices. I looked for my laptop while trying to make as little noise as possible, and again, angling my phone away from what I was doing. I found my laptop, booted it up, and plugged in my dongle. Yeah, well, I'm one tough son of a bitch. So when are we playing, James? And do you go over the rules properly, yeah? I like to whoop your ass playing by your own rules, dipshit. My strategy was to show no fear. In truth, I was terrified. But I knew the instant he smelled fear, he would have total control over me, and I'd fuck up and forget basic stuff, like I had when this shit show first started. My laptop finished booting up. I knew this fucker was using my network somehow. So I decided to hack my own network and see how he got in. Maybe he left something behind.
The rules are simple, Danny. You wanted to play judge, jury, and executioner. We are going to go through your history of White Knight Justice and see just how much of a hero you really are.
Hero, huh? There was a time when I thought I was a hero. Maybe it was when I made that child molester end his own life. I told myself I was a hero because he wouldn't hurt another child. In truth, was this my past coming to haunt me? No time to think about that. It isn't just my life on the line here. Everyone I care about is in danger, and there's no time to be selfish. Ha! Hero. That's cute, James. But I've always known I was the devil, a necessary evil. But sure, let's walk down memory lane. Maybe that will remind you who the fuck you're dealing with. My attempts were bringing up nothing. I managed to break into my own network many times, but I couldn't find a trace of another device. Not a trace of information transfer. Wait. Information transfer. Outgoing and incoming traffic. Fuck, I'm stupid. He can see a stream of my screen, which means I have outgoing traffic somewhere, right? I started monitoring my outgoing traffic. Encrypted, of course, but there was still an address. A server that this information was going through. I find the address of the server and decide to do something extremely stupid. It might sentence myself to prison, or worse, no access to any computer. But I decided that was a small price to pay for the safety of my family.
Well, Danny, watch the screen as the images pop up. Let's roll the tape, ladies and gentlemen.
What a fucking psycho. I don't pay much attention to the tone of his voice as I set up my botnet for a distributed denial of service attack. My hope is that if I bring down the server for a bit, I'll be able to see where the requests are coming in from and track it from there. It's a long shot, but it might work. As I'm doing this, I also stop recording the call. All the while I'm still angling my phone away from what I'm doing. And since he hasn't spoken of it, my theory that the only camera being used is my phone turns out to be correct. I finally feel like I'm making the right moves in this twisted game. I'm just hoping that I'll be the one to say checkmate in the end, though.
Victim number 1, Brock, 16 years old. You destroyed his relationship and got him kicked out of his home. He spent 3 years on the street before overdosing on heroin. That wasn't a nice thing to do, Danny.
A picture of 16-year-old Brock pops up. He died? Fuck. He was an asshole, but he didn't deserve to die. I went too far. Way too far. But I couldn't admit it. Not to this lunatic. I had to somehow show him that I had no heart. Well, life sucks. Survival of the fittest and all that shit. Maybe he should have been more careful about who he messed with. Another disgusting laugh. James is enjoying himself. Should I be? There was no time to dwell on that right now. I put my phone on loudspeaker and placed it on my desk, weary that the front camera may be used, and I kept it well out of sight and put in an earphone into my left ear. Time to tweak around with this recording and unmodulate this voice.
Danny, this isn't gonna end up well if you don't show remorse. Now the fun begins. Remember his girlfriend? It's confession time, Danny.
As if it were alive, my PC opened up Skype and auto-signed in. Fuck. I'm so stupid. Was I really that lazy? A number was entered into it, and it starts dialing. What do you want me to do, James? Tell her the online babe was really me, and Brock wasn't a cheating dickhead? What's that going to change? My botnet was ready, and I started my attack on the server address instantly. I then watched my incoming and outgoing traffic closely. All I needed was a hiccup, something that would lead me to James. In that moment, it was like my entire world was grinded to a halt, ending all life as we knew it. All that mattered was the stream of information. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. I could hear the second hand on my watch ticking. There, a clue. I was starting to lose hope. I started working on it, hoping that James did not notice. I'd imagine his connection to my network might have dropped once he realized that I was onto him, but he was too busy trying to guilt-trip me, and he got too cocky. And I guess he didn't notice. My Skype was still ringing. Was she going to pick up? Hello? It was a girl's voice. She sounded kinda cute, actually. Is James trying to hook us up? Wrong time for jokes right now. James then chimed in. Go on, Danny. Answer her. Tell her your name and what you did to Brock. I decided to play along. True, he didn't call me from my mom's number, but that doesn't mean he couldn't still hurt her. Liz? It's Daniel Kurt. We went to school together with Brock? There was a pause. I can't imagine how awkward this must have been for her. I didn't have time to care, though. I ran a search on the address, and while that was going on, I continued tweaking the recording. Danny? That loony kid that used to get beaten up all the time? Ah, what a bitch. Hooking up my ass. I had to fight back the urge to shout and educate her ignorant ass on what autism was. Whatever, though. Not my concern. At least breaking this news to her won't be as painful to me as I thought. Yeah, that's me. The loony kid. I laughed, and I could swear I heard James laughing too. Asshole. So listen, I don't suppose you remember Brock Leland? You kinda slept with him at the time? Maybe not the best choice of words. Yeah, I remember him. I heard he died from a drug overdose. Makes me feel horrible for breaking up with him. Why? Fuck. How do I say this? This is a confession. If she takes this to the police, I'm fucking screwed. Fuck any chance I have of getting away with this. I was 16 though. Does that matter? Read somewhere that crimes committed before the age of 18 aren't dealt with anymore. I was just a kid. I needed to stop this madness before he made me call a victim of an attack I committed after I was 18. Yeah, well, it's my fault he did this. He made my life shit when I was at school, so I decided to fight back. He never cheated on you. A really long pause. It gave me enough time to work on the recording. Nothing remotely human yet, and I was still looking for that address. Danny? Her voice was extremely soft. I was expecting something else. An angrier tone would have made sense. Yeah? I know. She knows? What does she mean? Is she connected to James? Or was this going against James's plan? Shit. Is she James? What? How do you know? There was another pause. My search comes up with something. James is definitely in the same country. but I had to narrow it down. Why was this taking so damn long? I heard her take a deep breath. I always knew Brock was faithful. It's why I stuck around. I wanted to leave him because he was just a horrid person. Not to me, but to other people. I mean, look at you, Danny. I'm sure you were bullied by everyone, but Brock kept taking it too far. And it wasn't just you. Other people would be pushed around by him every day, and I was sick of it. Another pause. Is she crying? I can definitely hear her crying. I didn't want to cut in at all. I let her take her time. After a few seconds, she continued. I guess I was looking for a way out. And seeing this girl that Brock was supposedly cheating on me with was my ticket. I didn't know his life would be ruined because of it. I mean, for crying out loud, we were just kids. Her voice had gotten louder. I could tell she was beating herself up about this. I had to comfort her in some way. Liz, it wasn't your fault. You made the wrong choices in life and ultimately couldn't live with them. You were trapped in that relationship. You were under no obligation to continue with him. It wasn't your fault. I did this. I will gladly take the blame. I still gotta ask though. How did you know it was me? She laughs. I guess that was a stupid question. I knew the answer before she said it. I'm not stupid, Danny. I knew that Brock was pissed off with someone who was good with computers, and the only person I could think of was you. I laughed. I didn't care if James was listening. I didn't care if he would blast through the door and shoot me in the head. I laughed at how stupid I really was, but that thought quickly wormed itself into my mind. James was not going to be happy with this outcome. Liz, are you with someone right now? My thoughts were to get her somewhere safe, somewhere James couldn't get to her without causing too much attention. No, I'm out. Line cuts. Liz? Liz! I picked up my phone. What the fuck have you done with her, you twisted dickhead? Silence. There wasn't a single noise. I looked at my phone confused. We were still connected. Where the fuck did he go? This isn't time for a toilet break. Then I heard a sound. He's there. He starts to speak. His voice changed. Not modulated into something else, but his tone. Homo sapiens are an intriguing species. They never do the things you expect them to. I hear a sigh. She'll be dealt with soon. Let's continue our trip down memory lane. My God, he's going to kill her. Fuck, I needed to hurry up and find something. Anything. I can't let anyone else die because of me. Another picture shows up. A child molester that I scared the shit out of, and he ended up taking his own life. What sort of justice was James looking for here, if any at all? I start to panic. Why is he making me do all this? Surely he knows I did these attacks, and he has evidence. Why not turn it all over to the police? All the more reason to find this asshole. Jordan Fisher, age 36. You masqueraded as all the children he'd molested and caused him to take his own life. Now you might think this is an act of heroism, but if so, why haven't you told anyone about your heroic act? He was mocking me. His continued talk of heroism disgusted me. I needed to find Liz. I needed to alert the police and let them know that she's in danger. And what do you suppose you're doing now, James? Are you a hero to these people? Are you acting out of their revenge? Wake up, shithead. These people are criminals. All I did was rid the world of them. I looked over to my search window. It was narrowing down. Finally getting somewhere. Back to tweaking the voice recording. It felt like I was getting closer to finding out James's real voice. But it wasn't male. It was definitely a female. Well, anything that will tell me more about James will help. One thing is certain. People feel safe under the cover of anonymity. Once you break that illusion, once you burst that bubble, they start to panic. And one thing you can be certain of, people that panic fuck everything up. It's human nature, I guess. James responds. Justice? I'm not doing this for justice, Danny. I'm playing a game with you. It doesn't seem like you understand what the game is yet. I feel sorry for you. Anyway, let's continue. Fisher had a daughter. Did you know that? She was 15 when her dad took his own life. Tell me, Danny, don't you think she would like to know why her dad died? I mean, it's only fair, right? Time to confess. Oh, I almost forgot. Her name is Sarah. You'll need that when you talk to her. As before, another number was dialed from my Skype and began to ring. She was 15? I was still 16 at the time. Fuck. How can a child molester have kids? I deprived one of their dad. But he was a monster. What have I done? Hello? Who's there? Help me. There was a girl on the other end. Her voice was aching with distress. I could hear an echo. Where was she? And why does she sound like she's in trouble? James began to speak again. Danny, you better answer her. Who knows what might happen? Another one of his laughs echoed through my phone speakers. He disturbed me. I guess I had no choice. Sarah? Are you okay? What's going on? I tried my best to check if she was all right first, before confessing my crime. I don't know. I think I'm okay. I can't feel my legs. Her breath rate starts to increase. Who are you? Where am I? Please help me. What the fuck is going on? Did James kidnap her? The hell kind of twisted game was this? Just calm down, Sarah. Take some deep breaths. Can you look around and tell me what you see? I turned to my phone. James was silent. I wasn't having it. It was time for some answers. Okay, James, what the hell is going on? What have you done with Liz and Sarah? James was quick to respond this time.
10 minutes, Danny. You have 10 minutes. Find them.
I was just as quick to react. Screw trying to find James now. These were innocent lives on the line here. I needed to find them. I needed to trace Sarah's phone. And I had an idea how. Sarah responds before I could do anything. It's so dark in here. I see a camera stand in front of me. I'm in a chair, but I can't get up. I can't feel my legs. It's so dark here. Oh my God. What's going on? Damn it. He's probably using a burner phone. Not good to me right now. Tracing it would take ages. Hang on. Sarah is 19. She has to have a smartphone. Listen to me very carefully. I need you to fill your pockets and see if your phone is still on you. I hear a few groans. Whatever James did to her was painful. I guess her legs were broken or something. Yes, I have my iPhone with me. It's not dead. Should I call the police? She asked hesitantly. I could tell from her tone she was happy she still had her phone on her.
If she calls the police, she dies instantly. You have to find her yourself.
James snapped. Damn. I didn't intend to rely on the police anyway, but they still would have helped. I needed to find a way to explain to her just how dire the situation was, without making her panic enough to call the police. I don't think James would have been too happy with me telling her the conditions of our game. I had to think quickly. Sarah, there's no need to call the police. I'm Detective Haynes. I've been looking for you as you've been missing for a while. Now I need you to tell me what your iCloud username and password is. I can track your phone that way. I tried to keep my voice as calm as I could. I didn't want to induce panic. She gave me her details and I logged into her iCloud and started looking for her phone. Within a matter of seconds, it shows me the location of her phone. It was about a 5-minute walk from where I live. I got her location, James. Now let her go.
Oh, Danny. I didn't ask you to give her location. I told you to find her. Run, Danny, but take your phone with you. We still have a lot to chat about.
It dawned on me why she was so close, and why he gave me such a long time frame for such an easy task. I had to physically find her. I dropped everything and I ran. Before I left my apartment, I grabbed a small kitchen knife and wrapped it in a towel. I might need it. though I doubt it would do jack shit if a real threat shows itself. I ran to the address as fast as I possibly could. At the time, I rarely exercised, so when I got there, I felt like dying. I saw a large building in front of me, at least 7 stories high. There were no bells to ring, so I banged on the door as hard as I could. No reply. I didn't have time to waste. I tried to find a weak spot in the door. It was old, so that wasn't too hard. But trying to bust down the door, when I struggled to even open a jar of honey, proved challenging. I looked around for something to use. There were a couple of bricks lying around. I instantly grabbed one and threw it at the door, hoping that there wasn't anyone on the other side. The brick just bounced off. I pick it up again and start hitting the hinges of the door. After a few swings, it finally let loose. No time to celebrate. I kept hammering at the door until it finally broke loose. "Sarah, are you here? Can you hear me?" I ran inside and looked around. There must have been 20 or so rooms in the building. I didn't have time to look through each one. "Help, I'm here. Please help me." I ran to the sound of her voice. "Sarah, I'm here," I shout. "Keep talking to me. I'm coming." "Detective? I'm over here. Be careful. There's someone else here." I stopped outside the door the sound was coming from. Is James here? Would he risk exposing his identity like this? I'm running out of time. I took out the small knife and kicked open the door. I stepped into the room, knife raised. Steadying my breath, I looked around the room. It was dark, and I waited for my eyes to adjust. I started to make out a chair with someone in it, and a stand with what I assume was the camera on it, and a figure standing opposite to me, a female figure. I couldn't quite see her face yet. My eyes were taking forever to adjust. I turned to face this figure while glancing at Sarah. "Sarah, are you okay?" I asked. I needed to make sure she was okay before whatever was about to go down. "Yeah, I'm starting to feel my legs again, but I still can't move. There's another girl here, red hair, but she's passed out." She sounds relieved. I guess she thought I was a detective with dashing hair and stunning eyes. I do not envy the disappointment that she was in for. The girl with red hair was probably Liz. So, this was the grand battle, I guess? At least it's almost over. Just as I was about to address the figure, who I could only assume was James, I hear a familiar voice coming from her. "Hey, Danny." I froze. That voice. It can't be. No. It's impossible. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. But it also terrified me. Who was the one person I kept no secrets with? Who was the one person that knew everything I had ever done? Who was the one person that had access to my PC, apartment, phone, everything I ever owned? Who was the one person I shared my heart with? Angela. I whispered softly. The thought that my girlfriend had done this crushed me. I felt tears rolling down my face. Of course, it all made sense. She had her address spoofed as my own because she knew what it was. She added James to my Facebook because she had my login details for Facebook, and I shared everything with her. The thought of her doing this never crossed my mind. Why are you doing this? What are you doing? I don't understand. What did I ever do to you? I can barely string together a sentence. My eyes started to adjust and I saw her. Angela. Is she crying as well? Or am I hallucinating? No. Those were definitely tears. Is she really James? Or did James threaten her to do this? Ta-da! She sings through tears. Did you enjoy our little game? At this point, I'm angry, confused, and tired. Why? I scream. Why are you doing this? Why are you hurting innocent people? Why are you hurting me? I've only ever loved you and cared for you. Why? She laughs. Her laugh is fake, I can tell, but she still laughs. Why? She says in a mocking tone. Don't you know why your lovely girlfriend is doing this? Danny, Did you not find it odd that I didn't introduce you to my parents ever? I did find that odd. She was always reluctant on telling me who her parents were, but I didn't mind. I loved her. I didn't really care about her parents. What's that got to do with anything? As I'm searching for answers, it hits me. Her dad must have been the victim of one of my attacks, and I confessed it all to her. But still, if she was a victim to an attack from me, he must have been a criminal. Why was she doing this? Oh, it seems like you understand. My dad was David Jessington. You know, the drug dealer you put behind bars. I loved you, Danny. I still do. But when my dad was arrested, he made me swear to make whoever did this to him pay. I tried and looked for whoever did it, but after a year I gave up. Then I met you and fell in love. I thought we could live our lives forever together. Then you had to tell me that you wanted there to be no secrets between us. You had to tell me everything you've ever done, including getting my dad arrested. She took a breath, wipes her tears, and continues. I spent weeks fighting with myself internally. I tried to forget that I was in love with the man responsible for me not being able to see my father. I tried, but I couldn't. Eventually I went and visited my dad. I asked him if I still had to make the one who did this to him pay, even if it was someone I loved deeply. I pleaded with him to forgive me, but he looked at me and told me that if I had the power to avenge him and didn't, he would disown me as his daughter and never forgive me. Her tears returned. Danny, I love you. I always will. But I swore to my dad, and if he ever finds out that I let you go, he would kill me. I wanted more than anything just to go to her and hug her, to tell her that it would be okay. I dropped the knife, and I started to walk towards her. I didn't care if she killed me. I didn't care if the whole world was against me. I loved her, but she kept crying and raised her knife towards me. Danny, stop. Please stop. I don't want to do this. I can't let you get close to me again. Please, Danny, stop. She pleaded, but I didn't care. I kept walking. She realized that I didn't care if I died, so she raised the knife to her neck. I stopped and stared at her eyes. Please, Danny, I don't want to hurt anymore. I ran to her. Just as she was about to drive the knife into her neck, I held the blade with my bare hand. Blood starts dripping down, but I didn't care. I stared into her eyes and softly whisper, I love you, Angela. I don't care who your dad is. She then breaks down and drops the knife. As I lean in to kiss her, I hear sirens in the background. Someone must have seen me breaking into the building and alerted the police, but I didn't care. What happened next was a blur. First it was the police, then it was the ambulance. Angela and I were arrested, but thanks to the witness reports by Liz and Sarah, I was released immediately. I attended Angela's hearing, and she looked happy to see me there. Her sentence wasn't too long, less than her father's. I didn't care though. I promised that I would fight with her until the very end, and I meant every word. I kept visiting her, every time I got the chance. When she comes out, we will move away. I'm working hard, taking every shift I can, earning every penny I can. I will never take justice into my own hands again, because even though I may have helped someone, I have also hurt others. And maybe they deserved it. Maybe what I did was right, but I am not justice, and I have no right to claim to be. I have made mistakes in my past, and maybe James was my justice. For now though, I know I have to do what I must do, and I have my heart set on the path that I've chosen. Maybe there is no place far enough for us to run where her father can't find us. My fight isn't over. It has only just begun.
There's always a reason to be afraid.